Now, you are the only person that is actually challenging the incumbent on the race in November, correct?
That is correct, yes.
So what message would you like to relay to the Republican voter traditionally, or the Democrat voter traditionally, or the independent voter traditionally? What message would you like to relay to all three of those groups that would show that you are the Attorney General for Washington versus your opponent?
Yesterday, actually, I announced that a simple amendment to our Consumer Protection Act in Washington. My amendment is called the Community Protection Act, and it is simply going to bring the protections that Washington citizens deserve up to the same level that the federal government has decided. When a company breaks the law, or when an individual breaks the law, that you be able to recover your damages and they be held accountable, and it gives individual people the power to protect themselves and their community, rather than having to rely on the government to do it for them, which in reality, governments, they have limited resources. They can't do everything. As a libertarian, I don't believe they should do everything. Oftentimes, it's almost all the time, our elected officials do have a partisan point of view, and so if they decide that that's not an issue that their party wants to bring to the forefront, it can be swept under the rug. And so I think that the Community Protection Act that I announced yesterday, nonpartisan act, I think that if you are for protecting our community, and if you're for honest business, you'll support that act. And I don't think that there's any party or any ideology out there that would disagree with that.
So as far as accountability goes, you would like to see, I would imagine, those that are in a form of public service or one way or another, that there will be accountability across the board, protection for all that would be involved as well. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, by accountability you mean open government, the right of the people to know what's going on. I believe that the default position is that whatever happens in government, every single citizen should know. They have the right to know. If you don't know, how can you have an informed opinion? You have to have an informed opinion to cast a vote that matters. So, I mean, we have a constitutional right to vote, and if you don't have the information necessary to cast that vote, you're being deprived your constitutional right to vote. So, as far as open government laws, things like that, I am 100% for them.
As Attorney General, what positions within the government system in Washington do you plan on working with closely to either assist them or to be able to fix something that may not be addressed currently? Who and what do you plan on working with on the regular that's going to make an impact and change in Washington for the better?
Sure. So one of the main jobs, I kind of think of the Attorney General's office has two main jobs, 1 and 1A. And one is that it's the state's law firm, and so it defends the state and the agencies and elected officials, things like that. And then 1A is that it protects consumers, it protects the people. So the office works hand in hand with essentially all government agencies, government officials, things like that, to offer opinions if they request them on how to move forward on an issue. If an agency does get sued, the Attorney General defends them. So I don't see that changing. That's the role of the Attorney General's office, is to advise its clients, and then if a citizen has an argument they want heard in front of the court, then the way our system works is that citizen comes in and makes a good argument, the Attorney General makes a good argument, and hopefully they're both as good as they can be. That's how we get good laws made in America, is you have good representation on both sides, and that way everything's out there and the court can decide. So I think that the spot where most change can happen, like I said, is in the consumer protection area. We need to stop acting like this huge, I'm calling it a silent epidemic of financial fraud. We don't have an open, free, honest market. We have crony capitalism. You can buy your way out of regulations. There's all kinds of things that can be done, and that's not appropriate. So our state needs to make sure that our people are protected. It helps everyone. If you have a large corporation or a small corporation or even an individual out there treating people unfairly or deceptively and wrongfully taking money or harming them, that hurts everybody. It hurts their competitors. It hurts the consumers. It hurts just every facet of our community. And so that needs to stop. And I think that the people in Washington are amazing people. And if you eliminate the unfair and deceptive acts and the fraud and the cronyism and the corruption out of the economy, our economy is going to thrive.
Do you plan on having a open door style policy where if a citizen has a concern, they can send it to your office and you will actually be able to address in one way or another the concerns of the citizens in Washington?
Absolutely. That's why I'm running. This issue isn't just some issue that I decided one day that I wanted to make into a political stump speech. This is an issue I've been helping people for 4 years. I meet people. I think every single person that you probably come into contact with during the day has been affected by this, whether they know it or not. Their friends have gone through it, they've gone through it, family members have gone through it. So this is, in my opinion, the biggest issue that people are facing. And as an elected official, you're supposed to represent what people want you to represent. And so if you get lots of complaints and lots of reports, but if there's general themes out there that are impacting statewide, absolutely. That's what the office is there for.
Josh, it's been wonderful talking with you today, and I'm sure that people have been very appreciative of all the information you've been able to give them. In closing, I want to give you the floor. Any final comments, thoughts you would want to leave with the readers, voters, viewers of this video?
Sure, thank you. So, I'm running as a libertarian, and that means that my philosophy is that individual rights are paramount. It's laid out clearly in the federal constitution and our state constitution that government is formed to protect individual rights. Government is not formed to regulate individual rights. It's not formed to grant individual rights. What makes our country strong is individuals having rights and using those rights according to their own conscience to benefit themselves, their family, and that ultimately benefits the entire community. And so that's my foundation. And so moving forward from that, I think that we need to band together and we need to protect ourselves from this, like I said, it's a silent epidemic in the financial industry, it's in other industries. We need open and honest competition. We need open and honest business. I'm all for people working, people making living, people making profit. I'm against fraud and corruption and making profit at the expense of people. That's not how we're supposed to be running things. And so that's essentially my philosophy. That's why I'm running, because I want to give people the opportunity to live according to their own beliefs and to not be victims of fraud or being deceived by anyone.
Josh, thank you. This is Josh Trumbull, running for Attorney General here in Washington State. David Malachar of Liberty Chronicle, thank you for turning in. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night, everyone.